Well, welcome to the Better Business Bureau Sharing podcast. And we love bringing guests and to our Ignite Center. And the podcast studio is Ignite, sparked by BBB. And today I have a conversation with a young lady that I've known for a short time. I knew her family a little bit longer, but I really know her business. And I want her to talk about herself first, how she became an entrepreneur, what leads into that, and then we'll go into the business. So, Sarah Ball, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited to be here and get a tour of the place and recently accredited business and get more connected with your team here.
Great. So how did you become an entrepreneur? Can you give some nuggets out there that somebody listening is sitting in your seat that says, I want to be an entrepreneur someday? Do you have any nuggets like that you could share? The good, bad, the ugly?
It's hard to think about when I became an entrepreneur and like how to define it. I started working with my parents when I started walking at Ball Office Products, a company that they started when I was just one. I had a a crib under my mom's desk, and I remember distinctly we gave 2 cookies, or we still give 2 cookies to every single customer that orders from us, and we do a delivery of office products to their business. And I remember making those cookies when I wasn't tall enough to reach the counter, and I had to bring a chair around the kitchen so that I would step on that so I'd be tall enough to reach the oven, and it was just counter height. It wasn't anything tall, and my arms weren't even tall enough to go over my head to put the cookies in. So there was a sales rep named Stacy Kite who I would always go and say, Stacy, it's time to put the cookies in the oven. She would put them in for me and then set them down for me, and then I would bag them and label them. I was old enough to bag and label cookies, but not at the age or height that I could reach.
That's, you gloss over that, but that's where you learn some discipline, ingredients, probably what goes together. So when you build a team, do you realize that it's all about the formula and the ingredients you're putting together?
Yeah, and it's all about, sometimes you can add an ingredient that might not fit right, but sometimes you have ingredients that you don't think will fit right and end up tasting well, I would say. But
there is as a consultant, years ago, I had somebody came in at the dealership and brought in how to make an apple pie, and they threw all the ingredients into a bowl, and they would ask everybody in the audience, well, what if I don't put in the brown sugar, or what if I don't put in sugar, or if I forget the apples, what's an apple pie going to taste like? And everybody gets that analogy. It's not going to work, is it? So a company's only successful as the entrepreneur, the business owner, building the culture, the climate, and hiring, attract, satisfy, retain the very best people. But it's not easy.
Yeah, and it's up to the maker as to whether they add the cinnamon or the nutmeg.
Exactly right. Right.
It would still taste okay without nutmeg.
Right.
Maybe.
It's the flavor that you like,
Yeah.
right? And not appeal. So when you went to school, you went to college?
Yeah, I graduated near here. I went to Cool Spring Elementary, Chickahominy, and then Atlee High School up in Mechanicsville.
Yep.
And then I went straight to William & Mary. I graduated there in 3 years. While I was there, I studied abroad in a country called Mauritius in the Indian Ocean, and I did a couple classes at the African Leadership University. Graduated in 3 years and did the economics and public policy double major. And then about 4 months after graduating, I started online at American University and got my master's in public administration and policy. Finished that up in, I think it was May of 2023.
Very ambitious. So you bringing a hard day's work to a business is not that hard and shocking because you've already done that.
I mean, it's definitely different than school in many ways. And there's different nuances to it.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of it, the International Baccalaureate program I did in high school is probably the hardest of the things that I did. William & Mary was difficult, but to me, in many ways, more manageable.
That's interesting. So, yeah, that's the one thing we had in common when we met. My daughter went there, but is older than you. And she did the 3.5 years. And the way she did that was traveled and studied abroad also in summer schools and pretty cool. But the work ethic you have, so it brings you to an accredited business. You're an accredited business. You start with trust. You bought a store. You didn't start this organization. How old is the store that you bought, the organization?
So it started in 1886. If you do the math, I think it's 136 years. I might be wrong.
No, you're pretty close.
But
Yeah, 1886. And the name of the company?
it's called CP Dean.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might be CP Dean Company.
Yeah.
That you might find. And Charles Preston Dean started it. One of the funniest things is when people call us for Charles or Mr. Dean, seeing if he's available, because
Yeah.
not many
He's not
that
gonna
were
take a
born
call.
in 1886 are
Right.
available.
You know that's a spam call
Yeah.
or somebody selling something. But the name in the storefront, I've known about it. I used to go to events there. Your product, pool table, billiards, darts. What are you an expert in over there? What does your staff really excel in?
Well, if you look at our employees, I would say the majority of them and the ones that take the most skill and effort are the pool tables and the shuffleboards. It's a trade to use the tools that they need to use to put a pool table together effectively, and it really takes about a year to learn to do it correctly if you have a knack for it. There are some people that just don't have a knack for using a level, and we have another spot for them, but it requires skill, and we use actual dental plaster. We get it from the receptionist at our lead mechanic's dentist office that we buy in bulk quantities and walk out with a giant box and we use that to put it together, and knowing whether it's K66 or K55 or U23 rubber that goes on a pool table to make sure that the balls bounce at the right angle off the rail. It's a science that a lot of people take for granted when you go to play pool.
You have darts. You have chalk. You sell chalk.
We do.
I love chalk.
We sell billiard
I
chalk.
had a billiard table. I told you up in Pittsburgh, and we left it with the house. But I told you I had the green was orange. I loved it. It made a statement. My wife picked it out and picked out. We had bought the brand you offer. I think it's the best one out there. I mean, as an owner, I loved it. I thought the value was there.
Yeah.
The name of the company is
It's called Olhausen. A lot of people come in thinking that in order to buy a nice pool table, they need to be a professional at playing pool. But to buy an Olhausen pool table, pool table is a pool table. It's almost like I don't know what to relate it to, but a bike's a bike. You know,
Yeah.
to some extent, you don't have to be a professional bike rider to get a nice bike and to know that it's going to move well and
Know the benefits.
and also hold its value as you pass it down to your ancestors and your family, and
Right.
not look beat up in your house. A lot of it is how well it will take to children or pocketbooks or rings or belt buckles.
Right. The trophies you do. Talk about them.
Well, we have trophies, acrylics, crystal, plaques. We do pretty much anything you can get your name on. And we do a lot of it in-house. We're very unique with that. A lot of people who sell promotional products or sell awards are strictly the sellers, and they buy it from a manufacturer, but we do both. I really like that because we're able to have turnaround times that are faster, and we're able to see things from, Barry walking in and saying, I need an award for my team. This is what it needs to look at like. And we're able to go back into the area, look at examples of things that we have made, figure out what's best for you, and talk to the people who actually make it as to what you would like. And we have two heat presses and 2 full sublimation setups. It's my favorite because you can do full color on an award. We also have 3 CO2 lasers. We cut our own trophy rods. I love sandblasting. Our sandblaster does not love sandblasting, as if you don't wrap the plastic wrap just right, you can damage a piece of crystal very easily. But I think it's really cool to wear the big gloves in a machine. I feel like I'm a robot.
I tell you, the ability to go into somewhere in Richmond, an accredited business, find you at bbb.org, and walk in and get a trophy. And you got me thinking. I grew up in the auto industry, so it was always about chasing the trophy. So after 20 years, it was always the same person winning, right? So I stopped them. I got rid of the plaques, and internet was just starting and computers. So I made up my own. I got cheap, basically. But today, I got to tell you, as a business owner, if I was a retailer or anybody that had employees that are hard to find, today might be the day that I might go to your store and look at a type of a trophy and start passing around as employee of the month and or whatever, employee of the day, or somebody that just really excelled, because people want to be loved. They want to be felt appreciated. And that's what you offer with that stuff.
And not all of them have to be serious. I mean, they can be goofy.
Right.
We've got one that's a horse's butt that we like to do for last place finishes or something. My dog and I were in a Thanksgiving 5K and we came late, and I think we should have gotten the horse's butt.
I think you're right. So, well, thank you, Sarah Ball and CPD and your team. You got a great team over there. Your products, you're going to be starting to have a lot of events. You've been in business now a year and a half, you said?
2.5.
2.5 years. Okay. So we're going to start seeing a lot more of Sarah and her team and promotionals and stuff and going, but find them at bbb.org. Thank you, Sarah. And we're at the Ignite Studio, sparked by BBB. Thank you.